Okay, hello everyone. Today is a special day because we have invited two speakers all the way from Philippines and also diamonds and brand partners from all over the world to join our um, Facebook Live and Zoom today. Um, I know we usually speak in Cantonese, but today it's special. So let's welcome our guest speakers first, all the way from Philippines, is Miss Rachel Hamero and Miss Louise Manuel. And they're both RCDs from the Philippines. Um, so the topic we're talking about is about the title is it's too expensive. Now what? So when a lot of brand partners when they approach their friends and talk about young living, um, we find that we hear some people say that it's too expensive. So in Philippines, when what the GPD, the average
Gross pro.
spending, the
hmm hmm hmm
is low, how can we like talk to them and invite them to become brand partners? So we have invited two very experienced RCD from Philippines. And so, Joanne, do you have any questions or
Yeah.
comments?
Yeah. So to let the people know that who's on Facebook Live, so this is being streamed live on our team private Facebook group in Hong Kong. It's so we usually do this. We actually do training to give everybody a background. We usually do weekly training every Tuesday at this time with our team, usually on products, sometimes on business. Everybody gets access. We have like 10, I don't know, 10, 20, 12,000 people in the group. And then these recordings are being recorded and then will be uploaded to YouTube into our team YouTube channel. Sometimes it's link only. If we want to make this public, we make it public. If we want to put it private, it's link only so that the team members can still share. For those who are now on watching our Facebook Live, we actually have a Zoom link. We have about 30 participants from all over the world. We've got members and leaders, Crown Diamonds from all the way in the Netherlands. They said it's 4 a.m. right now. And then we have leaders from Singapore and I don't know where people are from. So we're streaming this all over the world. Well, in the Zoom. So if anybody wants to get into the Zoom and see who else is in here, welcome to click onto the link that is in the comment that Gretchen has posted. And then if you have any questions, please, if you're in the Zoom, if you have any questions for Rachel, Louise, me, or Gretchen, please put it in the chat room. Or if you're in Facebook Live, please put it in the comment. I'm watching, both Gretchen and I are watching the Facebook Live comments right now. So everybody probably, a lot of people probably know that in the Philippines, the income it's much lower than the world average, but they still manage to grow themselves to RCDs, which it's mind blowing to me. And in fact, Rachel, to give you guys some background, Rachel used to work as a prosecutor with the Philippines government. She prosecuted corrupt politicians. I don't know if I can say that, but anyway, but she was very stressed out with her work. Everybody knows that as a prosecutor, it's very demanding as a lawyer. She spent a lot of years studying to become a lawyer, got her license, worked for the government. It was a very demanding job. She was not spending time with her children, her son, right? You have a son and a daughter, if I remember correctly. Yes. And then three. And then so she was spending a lot of time at work. And then one day she's like, okay, what am I doing here? I'm not spending time with my children. And I don't know how she started with Young Living. Maybe we can let her share her story. I think that will actually give more connection to the people who are watching because then they will know Rachel and Louise better. And Louise, if I remember correctly, was your photographer, your friend, and I don't know how you guys started doing this together. And Rachel was like, I can do this. And she started doing this. So instead of spending 10 hours at work, she spent 10 hours at home building this business, or 12, I don't know. We actually don't just spend 10 hours in building this Young Living business. So I actually would like to start with their story. How long do we have? 2 hours? I would like to, because I find they were invited to, Rachel was invited to speak in Hong Kong. So we have the opportunity to really get to know them. And when I heard Rachel and Louise' story, I was like, it blew my mind. I was so touched and moved and inspired by them. So we really want to share the wisdom with everybody. And we love collaborating. We're not in the same team, we're cross team, but we're good friends. So that's why we've invited them. So maybe we should start with
Their story.
Rachel telling her story. Yeah. Maybe you can share with us how you start.
Um, yeah, I'm supposed to start with Luis today so that we can have a
Okay.
flow. But a quick background. Yeah, after lawyering, I dropped everything. It's like if I'm doing lawyering and getting stressed out for 8 hours, why don't I just stress myself out with Young Living? And basically, I just want to tell everyone, whether you're new, you've been around, there is something always figure outable, especially now in this age with like all these technologies. When I started almost 10 years ago, I had to go through books to just figure out all these sales skills. So the topic for today is price objection. It's too expensive. So that can bring up a lot of things for those who are not ready. Like me, I was not ready when I was a lawyer. Like, I'm just here to like research and write things. How am I supposed to convince someone that the price is that way? So I've had to do a lot of reading and research. But for today, we're gonna give you all the summary rundown. So I'm gonna turn you over to Luis so that you can get a sense of how we tackled this problem. So,
Before Luis start, can you talk about your story a little bit too?
mm, so like I've been working as a lawyer for 8 years before Young Living came along, and I was super super stressed out because um, I had just given birth. And you know that mom guilt feeling where when you're at
Mm,
home, you feel like you dropped the ball at work. Because
yeah.
prior to giving birth, I was like excellent. Like the boss would like praise me. It's like, like my hair's so long. But the guilt creeps in. And then I'd go to work, and then I think about my baby at home. At that time, I was breastfeeding. I had to bring my breast pump at work every hour just so I can store the milk. And I was like, I'm not even, I cannot concentrate on my work because I'm thinking about my baby. It's like the guilt is everywhere. And it was only when my high school friend, invited me for a essential oil 101 class for mothers, because at that time I was her only friend that was a mother. So Joe, just come. It's like, okay. Actually, I came not because of the oils. I came because I was just so thirsty for community. I felt so alone. Just the 9 to 5 grind. You go to work, then you go home late. Because in Manila, our traffic here is horrendous. So going to and from work, it would take 2 to 3 hours.
Wow.
So that means I'd have to get up earlier and then commute 2 hours, then go to work, and then wait for like traffic to kind of like slow down, and then go home. So that's another 2 hours. So essentially, I was just tapped out. And what drew me to Young Living was the community. I had no idea what oils were. I had no idea what the business was. I had no idea about sales at all. And all this information I learned through the past 10 years through people, through books, through sharings like this. So, not what I really love about our community is you can do this business, or you can learn about, you work on your health without having to have like a degree. I was so scared I needed an aromatherapy degree or another sales and marketing degree or some sort of training on things like that. But no, our community is so generous that it's really passing on what we know, what we have experienced. And I think that's what we prepared for everybody today. And what's nice was, because I enjoyed it so much, just 1 month after getting my premium starter kit, I quit my job. Yes, I have that type of thing, like I'm going all in. And so for in 2 months from signing up, I hit silver. And then 5 months after that, I hit gold. And then 7 months platinum, and I hit diamond in 11 months. 11 months from signing up. So it's, I want you all to like just remove all the fears and impossibilities. I find that whenever I do sales or talk to people, the reason that I fail, like closing a sale, is not really because of something I did. It's usually something I did not do. I did not follow up. I did not clarify. I did not like ask more questions. I did not get out of bed because I didn't want to work. So usually the things that are holding us back is what I like try to fight every day. And there's a lot. We can discuss them as we go throughout the presentation. But just think about our topic today. When somebody says it's too expensive, what comes up? Do you do something about it, or you don't do something about it? And I find that if you don't do something about it, that is where you stack up the feeling of failure, of the loss of confidence, because you didn't act on it. So we're here today to show you how, what to do when that phrase comes up and it triggers something in you. So I'm looking forward to our today's discussion.
Thank you, Rachel. And before Louise start her sharing, can you also share your story, Louise?
Um, my story is a little different from Rachel. So, um, I was 25 years old when I signed up with Young Living, and I was a first-time mom back then. And at first, I was very intimidated also because in the Philippines, it was just rich people before who had oils. So, me as someone who just barely graduated from college, doesn't have even a career yet, and then, of course, Rachel and the other people who came before me are all very established in their own right. It was also kind of intimidating for me to, to get started or to gain that confidence to try the business or even, attend classes and attend events. So, everything that I've learned in this journey is mostly through experience, as how Rachel described it. It came from a lot of times when we said yes or when we experimented and we took that risk. Um, I really believe that there's no mistakes. And we are very blessed with Young Living, which is a business that allows for a lot of mistakes to happen. There's a lot of flexibilities. We won't get fired if if we, you know, make a mistake or do something that's strategically not making sense, there's a lot of flexibility in that area on how we want to pursue it. So for me, that is such a blessing. And I'm not a very conventional person either. I'm kind of on the artistic side of things, and I don't look very oily, I think, as well. So, I'm so happy that the community also is very accepting. So no matter where you are in terms of preferences or economic status or just how you live your lifestyle, you have a place at the table to exist here. So I always tell our members that this is the place where I grew up. most of my adulthood is spent building in Young Living, growing in Young Living. I learned most of what I know in health here, through the certifications, of course, through the free classes, through these beautiful Hong Kong RCDs here. So there's a lot of things that made me who I am that I got through my starter kit, which I never expected. Just for that, you know, amount, you get so much more. And so we're very, very passionate to share both about the oils and the business and the community every time we get the opportunity to do so. So yeah,
I have
so
I have a question. So how did you start? I mean, when you got the oils, with being just fresh grad, I'm sure there was a lot of self-talk going on in your mind,
mm,
whether you can do this, you can share this. And I remember you take photos, right? And
yes.
for everybody who don't know Louise, she's extremely introverted. If you see her in person, she will not smile at you, maybe a little if you're walking in passing, but she's usually has her head down and she's extremely shy, and you sort of have to dig through her mouth in order to get her to talk. That's my first experience with her. And luckily, Rachel was there and she's very close to Rachel, so she felt more comfortable. So I think there's also a lot of misconception that only extrovert can succeed in this business, which
Yes.
is not the case because I'm also quite introverted compared to Gretchen and compared to a lot of people. Louise is probably one of the most introverted RCD I've ever met. A lot of them are also. But so how did you get over that
Mm.
mental hurdle? And why do you want to build this business? Like, what motivated you to do it?
There's actually a funny story there. So at first, I've said no to Rachel a lot of times when she outrightly invited me to try the business with her. So she was very desperate at that time because she had just quit her lawyering job. And so I think that was like a moment of panic because, it was crunch time for her. But I was building my photography studio back then. I just opened it. So I really wanted to focus all my time and energy on that small business, on that startup. So what she did was she hired me to make PowerPoints and design brochures and shoot stuff for her for her Young Living business. So as she said a while ago, there was no um existing upline system yet that supported us the way she wanted to pursue Young Living. So she really made the investment to, build structures and resources for her future. She didn't have any downlines yet, but she really wanted to do this. Okay. So she hired me. And I created those materials. And of course, since I needed to create those, and I'm the kind of person who will never do anything half-baked. I will really do my best in all of the work stuff that I have on my plate. So, as I was making the brochures and the PowerPoints and the posters and all of those, I had to learn about the products and I had to learn about the business as well. And that time, I was asking her about, the compensation plan, how would I lay out it? And she did not understand the compensation plan. So I had to, watch stuff, watch other videos and try to learn, the compensation plan on my own also. And then I had to be the one to explain some parts to her. So we had to put, whatever our understanding was together. And that's how we built, the initial materials for our community, which was called Hush Angels, which was just supposed to be Rachel's soap brand. She was just wanting to sell soap. So it was a weird start. It was a very unconventional start for us also. And it's funny to me that I'm the most introverted person you ever met because I would really like to thank the extroverted people around me who built connections throughout the way. All I had to do was just show up as my authentic self, and the extroverts around me are the ones who maintained the relationships. I have a very extroverted son who I am homeschooling. We've been homeschooling for 8 years. He is very extroverted. He was friends with Rachel before, I with Gretchen and Joanne before I was friends with them. So and Rachel is also more extroverted than I am and what was more skilled socially. I lack the social skills to, exist in a network marketing company. So I'm really glad that, you know, it all happened. So thank you for that.
Well, that's what you think. The thing is, I think there's a lot of misconception that
Mhm.
we think we need that social skill and that
That's true.
extrovertedness to build this business. But because you show up authentically every time, and because the key is you show up,
Mm.
right? And then you show up authentically. And you generally, what I heard from your story is you generally wanted to help Rachel to make
Yes.
this, because you're not half-baked, right? You want to make this good for her. That's why you went and studied, and you really want to understand. You're trying to understand it, something very new at the same time together. And I think that's what a lot of our builders or wannabe builders are struggling with.
Mm.
They think they need to know everything before they start. So sitting in front of everybody are four people who have no idea what they're doing. We have very, very similar story. I was quite desperate to build this business because I really felt that the product was really good. I talked to Gretchen multiple times and she said no multiple times. I didn't hire her, but eventually she said yes, and she was the one who did all the all the graphics, because I don't know how to use, well, I just know how to type. I don't know how to do graphics. And she was very good with the graphics. And she was like, Joanne, but what is this? And I would have to explain. She would have to do research. Extremely similar scenario. I think that's why we connected so well. And that's why we wanted to share this background story to everybody who's watching this. Because none of us knew what we were doing. None of us understood the comp plan. I had an upline, but she was in Singapore and she's now here. I mean, I try to call her, and every time when I call her, I have to explain it, what I was struggling with. And it took like an hour. And then eventually I'm like, it's okay, don't worry about it. I just hang up. Because if I had used that 1 hour to solve my problem, which she, even if she wanted to try to help, she couldn't because she's in Singapore, I might as well just use my own resources and try to use that time to solve my problem, right? And that's, so we hear a lot of, oh, I don't have an upline to support me. My upline, I don't have resources. I don't have a website. I don't have books. I don't have that. I don't have that. You know what? You can make it. Everything is created from an idea and from nothing. So that's really something that I really wanted to share. Rachel and Louise to share their background story and how they started, which was, I love that story. Yes, so yes. And so please keep going. I will sort of
Intermittently.
intermittently interject
As
my explanation to the audience of why we have invited the two of them to come to share the story with us. And so, okay, please continue. So I believe that you have a presentation, because Louise is really good with this kind of thing, to show us how to encourage people who say that the oils are too expensive.
Yes. So thank you very much. We have prepared some slides for you today. We really had fun writing the outline for this and just creating the flow for the whole conversation. I really believe that this is a topic that's very common no matter where you are in the world. We've talked on stage in a few other Young Living markets, a combination of first world and third world markets. We've met a lot of leaders who surprisingly, this is one of their major objections when it comes to inviting new members, and also in terms of maintaining, retention in their Young Living business. So we're so excited to share this with you. So let me just share my slides, and hopefully this is appearing well. So please let me know if it's not appearing okay with you. So So it's too expensive now. What is the title given to us by Gretchen? And I think this is a very nice opportunity to kind of dive deeper into what this really means for most people that we encounter whenever we're sharing with Young Living. So today we will be understanding and also addressing this common buyer objective. So first, my name is Louise. So this is kind of my credentials, which I have saved throughout the years that I've been in Young Living. So it's surprising. I've never imagined myself to be pursuing anything related to health and wellness because I'm not a very wellness-oriented person in my childhood. But here we are. So most of this I've only started to be interested in when I had my first and only child, which is Wak. I'm sure you'll get to know him if ever we meet in person. He is very sociable. He's a social butterfly, even if he's homeschooled. So through the years, Wak and I have explored many things related to, motherhood, such as breastfeeding, baby wearing, cloth diapering, and eventually, essential oils. But unfortunately, at first, I was one of the buyers who said, this is too expensive for me to try. So I remember myself telling Rachel, I'm not like you. I don't have extra money. I don't even have a credit card when I started. In the Philippines, it's hard to acquire a credit card if you are not employed. And that is a fact. So most of our members don't even have credit cards. So how will they create a Young Living account in the website, right? So that's also who I am in the beginning. I think I was already platinum when I got my first credit card. So it's kind of hard to buy oils in the beginning. So, but first, I also want to share this part of me. So when I was very young, I already started selling. So this is kind of my resume. Because I don't have credentials, right? So I'm not a career established person in the traditional sense. So I pursued various things starting when I was in elementary in when I was in grade school. I sold a lot of things. So growing up, I really believed that I can sell whatever I want, whatever I like, and whatever I'm interested in. And eventually, Young Living found me when I was 25 years old. So that was already 16 years of trying to sell things when I found Young Living. And I'm 35 right now. So that's already 26 years of selling things. And whether you like it or not, your sales experience might also look the same. You might be selling something you're just not aware of. Maybe you sold your uh the idea, that this is a good show. You sold the idea of watching this movie or watching this Chinese drama. Rachel loves Chinese dramas. So she always talks about them and tries to sell me the idea that I should watch my first Chinese drama. Okay. So we are constantly trying to sell ideas, even if we're not aware of it. And I hope this slide shows you what I mean. So of course, Rachel also wants to talk about her own introduction.
Okay. Like I said, I have no sales background at all. So I don't have a list of things that I've tried to sell to people. What I do have a background in is solving people's problems. So, like mentioned before, I was a lawyer and I learned very well how others make decisions, and how to defend their position. So, a lot of negotiations I was exposed to. And those skills transferred when I was researching to help people solve problems. So, like when I joined Young Living, it wasn't like I thought about business skills. No, I had to like just text people when somebody came to me, "Hey Rach, how will I present the premium starter kit to someone?" Research. What can I use for my child's fever? Research. So it's always problem solving for me. And then I learned along the way, actually, that's what selling is. You are helping others solve what their problems are, or talk about, communicate in a way that gets them to where they're going, or what outcome they want out of a product, a service, a class, whatever have you. And I just did that over and over, and somehow I ended up mentoring the Philippine market. So a lot of our members have no business background as well. But I really, really enjoy sharing that skill, or building that skill in my members, because it really empowers those who don't have the education, they don't have college backgrounds, they don't have sales backgrounds. And these are the people I worked with when I started Young Living, were really stay-at-home moms. And they felt lost just like me. They felt mom guilt, and I was like, oh, I have to solve this problem. Like, how can we talk about essential oils better, like talk about health better? And that is the lens I'm coming from, not to sell to people, but to help them solve their problems. And eventually that led to me being interested in health and wellness. Eventually, like after I had earned enough money from Young Living to actually pay for courses. So it's not like what people think, that, oh, I studied sound healing, I studied somatics, I studied trauma resolution, and all these in-depth emotional work with essential oils. This came way later, after I had built a business. And so when people come to me and they think I know a lot, it's really because I'm interested in a lot of things that help people solve their problems. So I'm interested in the financial, because financial also helps open up things for people, and it's one of the major stoppers for people living the life that they want. I'm interested in business, I'm interested in trauma, relationships, health, grief, discipline, nervous system awareness, all these things. If you see my feed, or if you get to know me, I could talk about all these topics, and people think they're different conversations, but really they shaped how I move through the Young Living world, meeting different kinds of people, from first world and third world, high school, people not educated, people educated. And because eventually all these conversations, you arrive at just the same question: what are you capable of becoming if you stop limiting yourself? If you could organize your life around what you are really capable of, with the community you have, with the oils that we have here in Young Living, how far can you go? And that really fuels me. Like when I see my friends or my members who have so much going for them, but they stop themselves because of their some disbelief, or, oh, I can't sell, oh, my prospect said it was too expensive, all these objections that come up to them. My goal is to help teach them pick out these things and throw them away, so that they can really build a life, build a business, build a relationship, a family, a future, a body of work, a legacy, whatever matters to you. It all boils down to what would happen if you became more capable, and if you stopped underestimating. So one of the main things that always came up from the business side, and of course we do need the business side, because this is where we learn how to communicate, we learn how to solve problems, we learn how to build a business, is to answer, why is this what to say when someone says it's too expensive. So can you just type in the chat, how do you usually react when you hear this? Over the years, like, this is like personal experience, I have had a range of, I wasn't always this strong or courageous. I've had like a range of reactions. The first one I remember in 2017, when I first started talking about Young Living essential oils, and then people would type and say, oh, it's too expensive, this brand is better. I would go all keyboard warrior. No, Young Living is pure. You see this usually with the newbies. You would like fight. So that is the fight response. Just put your hand up if you're someone who is a keyboard warrior when they start attacking Young Living and its prices. And you have this need to like push the quality and have like a dump all these information about C2C. I still remember I would info dump in chat groups. Let's see. Don't be shy, people. So that was one of my reactions. So if you can relate. The other one would be to retreat. That is more of a flight response. So I would just say, oh, okay, no problem. Especially if it was like a really close friend that I did not want to annoy. I just, oh, it's no problem, maybe another time. When you're ready, I'm so sorry to bother you. So that is more of a flight response. I just, never mind. I'll come back to them later. I'm all of the above. I've tried them all because it depends on who I'm talking to. I guess I'm a lot mergy. So if it's a stranger or if it's like more anonymous, I can get keyboard warriory. And then there's also freeze, the freeze response. So when somebody says it's too expensive, I get taken aback and I just have this awkward silence. And I would change the topic, maybe to something else. Okay, let's not talk about this oil. Let's talk about how are you? How's your kids? So that is more deflecting. I've seen that in myself as well. And then the most common one that I did in the beginning was the fawn response, the people-pleasing response. This would be where, yeah, you're right, it is expensive. Let me add these free oils for you. Let me overgive. Let me do classes for you. Let me give you free this and this and this and this. Right? Some people, if their fawn response is really strong, they end up massive discounting, and then you'll have compliance calling you when they find out. So that's also something I've had to learn along the way. Then, like, it's my early years. You also end up giving everything away. Here, have an extra diffuser. Here, have a what else? What else can you do? Come, I'll give you a free massage, a free raindrop as well. So it's like just stacking the value because you also want to please them. Yes, conduct was not very happy with overgiving, people pleasing types of business practices. So these are all responses by our nervous system when it comes to stress and fear. And so, this has been like my most favorite oil for the business, for everything, for dealing with that fear and really realizing that we have something of value in our products and we shouldn't be afraid to answer or discuss what it means. Now, the phrase, it's too expensive, you realize it actually has different meanings, correct? When you say it's too expensive, it can mean a lot of different things. It could actually mean the price. It could mean the value of it. There's so many variables whenever an objection comes up, whenever people say no. The trick is to get over your fear enough and not run away and dig in and discover what they actually mean. So they can be saying this because of details, maybe authority, maybe the timing. So the first step is really controlling yourself and your fears and whatever emotion comes up, hey, using our oils, so that you can get ready. And we'll give you the tools how to interpret or how to figure out or how to ask. So I'll be discussing the value part while Louise will discuss the economic cost when it comes to um, answering this question or discovering more about this question. Okay, so next slide, please. So when somebody says that it's too expensive, you don't actually know what it means. Haha, correct? And so I always keep this in my back pocket as well. And I also use it for the gym anyway. Side note, but clarity is one of the tools as builders that we really, really need to have. And the opening gate, I think, I know it's hard. I don't want to give you guys scripts when this comes up, but the easiest script I can give you when this comes up is you just parrot it back. You just go, it's too expensive? With a question mark. Right? You don't need to say anything. You don't need to like you buy if it triggers you while you're taking out your oil, you just kind of like, it's too expensive. Like, why? You just parrot it. Or you can say something like, oh, in what way? And if they feel open enough or you let down their guard, that it's okay for you to be curious about their reason, then their answer can fall into several levels. Okay? So I want you to just write it down, especially for those of you introverts who don't know how to answer. Buy yourself time and just go, it's too expensive, or in what way, or what do you mean? So those three things are usually my go-to when I talk to people. So level 1 is the information gap. I think everybody who introduces oils to somebody completely new, somebody who is not in the wellness world, it means the customer doesn't understand what you're saying and what you're selling. Like, what is in this? So it's very basic. And this is where education comes in.
Thank you, Rachel. I'd like to interrupt a little bit, excuse me, because I'd like to explain what you're actually saying, because we have a lot of people who are watching could be quite new to this. What Rachel is saying is when you are in doubt and don't know what to say, it's always good to repeat what the other person said and then make it into a question. But do ask authentically instead of showing like with the tone of genuine interest and genuine curiosity instead of challenging them. This is the trick, is the tone of how you ask it. So what Rachel is trying to say is you get more information by asking question and repeating what the person just said. And it shows the other person that you're genuinely curious in finding more about them, what they're actually thinking. So that's where we're coming from when we ask, oh, it's too expensive? What do you mean? Like, in what way? So that will first give yourself time, buy yourself time to think of, okay, what am I going to say next? Because repeating that question is very easy. It also shows the other person that you're listening to them. It's an NLP technique, actually. And it also allow you to get more information so that you can know how to unravel that misconception that it is too expensive. Because if we jump in and verbal diarrhea or keyboard warrior, it will make the other person feel that you're trying to attack them. But instead of doing that, you could ask genuinely curious and asking for more information. That will really help build the rapport, which is very important in our business, and will allow them to feel that you genuinely care. As Mary said, they don't care how much you know, they care how much you care. And that is why this level 1 information gap question is so important to ask. Gretchen is going to transcribe this and take notes and then share the notes. So I would like everybody to focus on what Rachel is saying, because you will get the notes after today or tomorrow. Okay. So I don't want you to start writing and then not hear what Rachel said, because what she's saying now is so valuable. You could just focus on it because you will get your notes. And for the people who are on the Facebook Live, you do not know that when Rachel took out the clarity, the three of us in the background also had a bottle of clarity that we right away put on. So this is a really good oil that we always use and we have on our desk. Okay, please continue, Rachel. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So thank you for that. Yeah, really, tone is everything, especially when they come up with an objection. You think of the objection as a defensive wall, and your goal is not to run away, right? Because those are the initial reactions when you're not really sure of yourself, or you don't believe what you're saying. So the first thing is control yourself, and then really figure out from any of these levels where they're coming from through question and answer. So for me, what helped me before, because you can only have so much time with an actual with an actual conversation. It's like, oh, you don't really launch into an essential oil 101 class in a in when you're typing and things like that. So this part, I think we can prepare for it by sprinkling it on our social media posts, or inviting someone to an actual class or a workshop, and then have this conversation about pricing after. So I find throughout my journey, whenever it's too expensive comes up, it's because this was missing in the first place. That I lacked, I wasn't able to educate them. I wasn't able to expose them to some of my product education posts. I was not able to invite them to a class. So even before you think about closing a sale or getting someone to say yes, even before you arrive at that, make sure that the education is there. And when the education is not there yet, don't pressure. Do not force the customer to make a decision without them understanding, because of course they're not going to understand why a bottle is worth so much. Okay, especially there's no background, because these are really weird and they're really tiny. So some people, they're still what we're trying to do today is that most people we meet who say it's too expensive, they come from a price-based mindset. When you're in a price-based mindset, it is hard to navigate it, because all these are numbers that can, go anywhere depending on who you talk to. What you want to do is to control the conversation to a results-based mindset. And we figure out where they're coming from first by checking all these levels. So of course they're gonna come from a price-based mindset if they don't know what a tiny bottle does for you. So even before you have that conversation, make sure that you have established some sort of education or background before. The next part is when they come from a price-based mindset, they will start comparing Young Living to other companies. Correct? Okay, essential oils are good. It's good for sleep. How come yours is more expensive than the one in Shopee, than the one in the grocery stores and Amazon? That's going to come up because again, you still have not switched them over to a results or outcome-based mindset. And so what you can do is talk about seed to seal. This is where we have, as much as possible, if you can get to a farm, go to a farm, or copy paste. This is when I started my Young Living business, I did a lot of copy paste. Copy paste Joanne's videos or Joanne's stories, and really talk about seed to seal. You do not have to be a scientist. Again, you don't have to be an aromatherapist, chemist, whatever it is, to just share what Young Living is all about, why our essential oils are the top quality, the purest there are, and why that matters to someone who is a buyer, a discerning buyer, sophisticated buyer. So talk about seed to seal because there's no comparison. It puts us right in the top already. So that argument is settled once you talk about quality. You can also talk about health results. So this is where testimonies, like when you first step into Young Living, everything is personal testimonies. You notice that? When you go to class, there's sharing and sharing. There's no we don't go to a class and a scientist explains or some medical health professional explains what essential oils do. No, we gather around kitchen tables telling each other that, hey, this helped my child sleep through the night, and I have been such a zombie. I don't even have time to brush my hair. Because even my child follows me in the shower. Like, if you paint that and then you figure out that, oh, because of these oils, I got these results. My kids started sleeping. I've noticed my skin started looking better because now my cortisol is down. You know, all these health results. People will care about this. These are tight stories. So you have to show that the oils really help people and have changed your life. So you start with your own story, then you share. And of course, the Young Living community. So when you buy a starter kit or when you become a member of Young Living, you're not just buying oils. You have an automatic family. So I love that. So some people, I've had people who don't care about their health so much. They don't care about the money so much, but they are very, very lonely. They care about connection. And Young Living is where I found most of my close friends right now. So that's very interesting. I was such a loner, angsty lawyer. And I found the softest, kindest, most compassionate, generous people in Young Living. And maybe that is what somebody else is looking for too. And you cannot buy friendship from a store in Amazon. You cannot buy friendship from a grocery brand. You cannot buy friendship from Shopee. Can you just imagine ordering your essential oils and then, like, if something goes wrong, you can't call them in the middle of the night to ask more questions. With our oils, you get a community, you get a family, you get all these stories, you get quality. And then once you build the value that way, price doesn't really matter. They start to understand why the price is the price. You now have switched over to results-based mindset. Priority. So another level is, yes, customer has the money for it, but they prefer to spend it on something else. So, Ningxia's too expensive. But when you actually compute Ningxia per shot, per 2 ounces, it's like a Starbucks. So I'm sure a lot of people drink coffee every day, maybe 2 times a day, 3 times a day, and the cost adds up. It's the same as Ningxia, but they don't see the priority unless you're able to connect the price, the outcome, the investment that they have to something they already want. I mean, why do people drink coffee in Starbucks when it's so overpriced? They want the vibe, they want to feel calm, they want to focus on their work. Can we do the same when we talk about our oils? And those things are painted along the way when we post things. For example, like we had a recent sale last year and I was trying to sell a Roman chamomile. So Roman chamomile, for example, so usually when people type it out, when they do a post on it or when they talk about it, it's like, oh, it's for sleep and relaxation and it calms anxiety, the usual features. But what I did was something different because, you're already competing with so many things. They prefer to spend it on other things. But I had a story about another customer who had an angsty teenager. A teenager who would never listen to them. They would slam the doors, would not tell them about their day. The mother just felt so completely disconnected from her teenager that she felt very sad. But then when she started diffusing, without explaining, Roman chamomile in the child's bedroom every single day, the child was less stressed. And one day he came to the dinner table after dinner and just helped her clean up. And then sat down, how was your day, Mom? Can you really tell me that, the oils are expensive when you put it that way. But you don't get to these stories, or you think somebody's priority is not their kids. Right? So their priority can be their kids, and they might not think oils at the outset. What is this? It's just about sleep. Who cares about sleep? But they might care about relationships. They might care about their child, and you have to help them connect that. Okay, so I think we had a really good sale that from that post of mine. I saw it was like shared hundreds of times, that one post. And so when somebody says it's too expensive, it could be priority. But just a caveat, you don't want to like attack them and say that, oh, you're prioritizing the wrong things, right? You don't want to come from a judgmental place. That's why I love making sure that the storytelling is already out in the open before I even get into a discussion, because you could get into a judgmental thing like, why are you not prioritizing your health? Right? Why are you like spending on an iPhone, spending on a bag? You don't want to be that person. Okay, so just a caveat. Okay, so next,
Okay, Rachel, before you continue, I'd like to explain a little bit this part, which is amazing that you have shared, that the value of the products that people don't understand, and we have to help them connect to something that they will see as valuable. But before that, I think what a lot of people may miss is that first you need to know what the other person's needs are before you talk to them. Because if you, as Rachel said, they may not care about sleep, because if you're sharing with them a story about sleep, if they don't care about sleep, they sleep really well, then it doesn't really connect to them. So even before this, you might need to ask questions or get to know them, or look a little bit, do a bit of research about your friends, about what they need in their family. And we have a tip that we call a FARM, FARM, family, is it FARM? Form, FORM, family, occupation, recreation, and meaning, motivation, what motivates them. So when we're meeting with our friends, or when we know our friends, so assuming that we're talking to our friends about the products, we will have to do a little bit of research before that. It's knowing what the family background is, say if they're married or if they have kids, or how old their kids are. If you talk to them about their kids getting fevers, but their kids are actually already teenagers, it doesn't really mean anything to them. Or occupation, what they do, if it's a stressed out job, or if what they love. And then recreation, what they really like to do in the pastime, and what is meaningful to them, so that when you connect to them, you connect to the right thing. Okay. Yeah. So that's something that I would like to add to. Thank you, Rachel. Please continue.
And a quick formula or framework in case you're meeting somebody new. Whenever people want to spend on something, it only boils down to 3 areas of life that they're willing to spend on, which is improvement of health, improvement of relationships, and improvement of finances. I'm sure there are other ways to improve your life, but people are not as willing to spend on it. These are the 3 that actually touches emotions. Most people are emotional buyers. And because they care about something so much, a problem that they have, they are willing to do go the extra mile, go for better quality, go for be more open to the price. So yeah, improvement of health, wealth, and relationships. I mean, if you look at, all the marketing that there's out there, they're all usually falls into these 3 categories. So if you feel lost, when somebody says gives you a no at the outset, like if you gave them health benefits of essential oils, a health story, and they still say no, it could be the other 2. Okay, so some people in my team, the other RCDs that I enrolled throughout my life. This I told them about sleep. I told them about anxiety. Oh, we're okay. We're healthy. I sleep well. It's like I don't. They're like signaling I don't need your product. But the moment I switch to a different need, I switch to either relationship, like with parenting topics, or um, finances, the comp plan, this as a side business. They said yes. So just keep that in mind. To make it simple, just play around with those three. The other four would be things like status. That's not really something that we have in our company, but other network marketing companies, they do sell status a lot. But we don't. We don't flash around cars, things like that. Okay, so going on to level 4, the trust gap. So if you notice that you talk to somebody, they don't buy from you, but they buy from somebody else. This happened to me several times. And usually that reason, when they say they tell you to your face it's too expensive, but then they buy from somebody else. It's like, oh, what's wrong with me? I got hurt so much before. But actually, it's really, they're just skeptic about the way you presented the products or the claims or the company. Maybe you did not establish credibility well, like you have not used this oil. Maybe it's a knowledge gap, like I said, or you don't have your own personal testimony, or consistency. You don't post oils, or you post a brand that's different, or the lifestyle that you lead is different. So when I started, I could not post so much about health and wellness from a personal standpoint because I really was not working on myself. So I still wanted to be authentic with the way I positioned the oils. So I positioned myself as a mother because I care about the health of my kids. But when it comes to my own personal health, I did not want to post about it. So I was able to get the sale. I was able to build credibility because I was not pretending to be someone I'm not. And whenever I post something, I share stories, I would say, oh, this is somebody else's story. This is why community matters, because somebody can come to me, they want oils for, let's say, hormones, for example. And I have not personally used oils for my own hormones. I mean, just the way I live my life, I wasn't really taking care of myself that well when I started. But I was still able to share and sell to them because I had a friend. I would call people like when in my classes, hey, can you share about this for me? What's your favorite product? So this is where classes are really good. Collaboration is really good. Because you may not have the credibility now, but somebody else in your team does. So invite them, bring them in, like make friends, even outside of your team. Like, hi Gretchen, Joanne. So we always call them for stories and sharings that we have not personally experienced as well. And that's where the strength of the community is. So be a connector. And finally, the identity gap. So this was me when I started. Customer wants good health and the best line for his family, but doesn't believe they're capable of pursuing it. So for me, I thought like I could afford like drinking supplements day in, day out, but I didn't feel like taking care of myself. But I would spend so much on my kids. Like they had everything. So you're gonna meet people who have low self-esteem, lack of self-worth, unhealed past issues, cultural or family beliefs. And this is where the community really shines. You build a safe space. Fun story, I had recently done a workshop about tea, a tea workshop with oils and feelings. And there was like a name who signed up, like I completely did not know her. just but she like was the first person who paid. I just posted the poster and she paid the next day. It's like, huh, I didn't even have to market. Like, what's going on? And when I met her, when she came to my class, she said, "Oh, I've been reading your stories, your posts for the past 2 years. I was not reacting, I was not liking, but I felt like my day was not complete if I did not read your stories because I don't have friends. I'm super lonely." And later, I was realizing that we post a lot about oils, but we don't post about our connections with each other, the safe spaces we build for each other through our love for oils, love for well-being, like just really improving the quality of life for people. And when they see you as a safe space holder, slowly these things kind of like, I like you become the people who you surround yourselves with. So after 8 years of building, we started a group chat on lifestyle. We started with doing steps together, 10K steps every day. And now they have branched off to running marathons together. Whereas me and Louise went into powerlifting. So it's like, oh, this can change. You can meet someone who has low self-worth, does not want to take care of themselves. They think the product is too expensive, but you show them the community, the safe space. Eventually, they're going to be interested in what we have to offer: wellness, purpose, abundance. We had rich people come in like, I just want the oils. I don't really want to do the business. But then they come in, they get exposed to our classes, and they decide, oh, I actually like educating. I like teaching. I like help going around provinces and doing these classes to help other women become more empowered. So even if I'm already rich, I still want to work the business side. So that's why you also have lawyers who become RCDs, and we have doctors that are diamonds. So they might not they may come for Young Living for a different reason for the oils, but I'm sure they will stay for the community. And so just as a summary, don't sell the product just as the product. Selling the product, that's Young Living's job. Our job is to sell the outcome, the transformation, the mission, the purpose. So you can take a screenshot of this so that you can remember. So I think that's what I have for my part. And I'll turn it over to Louise.
Okay, so I hope you enjoyed Rachel's very detailed explanation on how value contributes to the conversation of things being too expensive. So we did this discussion on a twofold because we really believe that economic cost is very real and valid. So we come from a place where we are third world, obviously, and a lot of people, a lot of other diamonds and a lot of builders from outside are so shocked and are finding it hard to believe that such a country is able to afford essential oils. Afford, that's the keyword for a lot of people. So when we talk about economic cost, I just want to give you a short background. So the current gross minimum daily wage in Metro Manila, which is the capital and the richest city in the Philippines, is 658 pesos or around 83 Hong Kong dollars per day. That is still including tax and deductions. That is not the take-home amount. So with that amount, it will take 13 days of work for a person to be able to afford a starter kit. That's more than half a calendar month, right? Or almost half a calendar month. So that means for us to be able to sell this, it takes a lot of courage. And when throughout this journey, we realize that builders are experiencing this fear because it's very valid. The guilt of presenting something that feels like a luxury to people who are so poor or economically insufficient, so to say, feels like um out of touch. It feels out of touch and disrespectful in some places even. So we have to have a certain kind of feel to whenever we do our classes and whenever we share our oils and whenever we have to teach about all of these things, because the basic person in this country cannot even afford to feed their family, right? So I just want to put this out there to have a background on when people say it's too expensive, for us, it can really mean that it's literally too expensive. No matter how you see the value of things, the levels 1 to 5, at the end of the day, if there's no money in their wallets, they really cannot afford it. So how do you tackle it, right? How do you still keep on sharing despite, the economic terrain in the Philippines? So that doesn't automatically mean that they don't want or need our oils. And this is very, very important to remember. After all, Gary said oils in every home. He did not say oils in every rich person's home or oils in every person who can afford to buy oils home. So when we have this in our heads and in our minds and we constantly remind ourselves oils in every home, we will subconsciously find a way on how we can keep on sharing at the end of the day. So how can we do that as a brand partner, price-wise? Okay. So step one is to listen. And I think throughout this discussion this morning, Joanne kept on, establishing this practice that we need to listen. And how do we do that in a very simple sense? So being present and listening with respect, empathy, and a genuine desire to help means that we are not constantly thinking of how to answer. We are not constantly thinking of the things that have been discussed in this class, while we are listening to the other person. It just means that staying there in the present moment and digging deeper into the whole story, asking them questions and being authentically curious into who they are as a person, and not just the obvious health issues that caused them to approach you. So sometimes, for example, Rachel has kids with asthma, the same way that she has asthma. So you can initially just label her as, that friend who has asthma. But in reality, she is someone more than that. She is someone more than a mother, even. She is someone more than a lawyer, even. There is the whole story that we need to unfold for us to be able to, you know, genuinely dig into why he says or she says that the price is too expensive. So the step one here is to listen and not just dwell on the obvious health issues that the customer is facing. So frankincense is our oil for that, and I always have frankincense. I think every oiler has a frankincense in their pocket. I do, use this a lot before classes and during conversations with people, since I'm very afraid of people. I need to oil up whenever I am in the presence of another person. So if you have frankincense right now, let's just, take a few seconds to, use it. I love putting frankincense on my wrists, under my tongue, drinking the whole bottle. I use it a lot on my crown. Um, diffuse not so much, but sometimes I do as well. So frankincense is that one thing that I found enables me to listen more attentively, more in a more focused and respectful and empathetic way with another person. So especially in one-on-one conversations, you can just, share your oil with the person you're listening to, and that way you're both grounded together. And that's how you dig deeper into their whole story. Step two, and this is the last step for this part. So there's just two steps, is to provide options. So for this step, our oil here is highest potential. So if you notice, we have oils for every part of this class. So for this one, we have highest potential. So if you have highest potential right now, I want you to, sniff a few inhales of that wonderful blend. So I love highest potential because it truly opens up our mind to all the options we can provide to the person we're talking to. So as a brand partner, it is not our job to decide in behalf of the customer. And I think for a lot of us, especially when we are new, this is a common mistake. It can be because of panic, it can be because a lack of experience, or for a lot of different reasons. But we tend to make the decision in behalf of the person that we're talking to, especially if we feel like we are more authoritative, we have more experience, we have more information, we keep on saying, lavender is the best for you. Lavender is the best oil for sleep, for you and your family. So our role at the end of the day is just to provide them with a lot of options. The same way, um, whenever the objection is it's too expensive. So we have a few options here for you to take down notes of, so that you can try them in your next conversations. So the first option is to upsell, downsell, or cross-sell. And this can mean that if you feel like this person ends up being able to afford, has money to spend on oils, and she finally, understands the value and is willing to spend on it or have the budget for it, then you can upsell. So at first, we have customers who just want a bottle of peppermint, but she finds out that, oh, this oil frankincense can help with my focus or can help with my son's special needs. So then that means that we can upsell them and maybe invite them to, try the starter kit with a lot of oils, depending on their needs. So downsell just means if this person who attends our class, for example, and where we presented the starter kit oils, cannot really afford the whole thing. Downselling just means we are willing to open the conversation of buying one bottle, just one bottle for this moment. So that's how we downsell at times. And cross-sell can mean that, for example, we a need ends up being another need. So it can be a skin issue, but then the skin issue, as the conversation goes, ends up being, something deeper, like an emotionally rooted issue. So we are able to provide options wherein we are truly understanding where the person is coming from. And when we solve that problem, that underlying emotional issue for that person, and the skin ends up clearing, then we establish, the value. That's how the price gets solved for that person. So that's one way to provide options. Another option is price per drop. Um, I don't know about you, but in the Philippines, we're very conscious about, we say it in our language, takal. So we're a very takal cultured people, wherein a lot of the products in the market are sold in very little containers. We have shampoos in sachets, laundry detergents in sachets. We're a very sachet centered country. So I think I was telling also the people that I know that my theory is that it gives Filipinos a false sense of abundance whenever they have many little sachets of all the different things that they need at home. But my point is, it can be a very cultural oriented mindset that people need to know how much the price is per drop. So the way we do this is we have ready-made graphics or ready-made computations for the drops, and then how many drops they need for one inhaler, let's say, or for one roller bottle, or for one massage oil blend. And when they see that a 15 ml bottle can last them months or a month at least for their 5 children, then it justifies the price for them. So Rachel talked about the value a while ago, but this is more on an economic standpoint. Is this economically sound for my family to be spending on 15 ml bottle? So when we tell them the price per drop, it works for some of them. Okay. Next is promotional bundles. So promotional bundles are really fun. It gives you that fresh feeling. You know, a lot of people, especially those who have a rough life all their lives, are just looking for some novelty. So when you present them with bundles wherein they can save a lot and it looks fun as well and it looks new as well, there's novelty in it, then it can be one good option, one good effective option for them. So we also do that a lot. Why not try this promotional bundle of Ningxia that we have on 40% off this month? Or why don't you try this promotional bundle of lavender and a diffuser? So you can do that as well. Next is freebies. So I love discussing this because a lot of people think freebies are just gifts. And that's how you get flagged by conduct, right? When you give too much gifts. Um, and then you get a call. You cannot give, this amount of gifts. But people don't usually think of services to give as a freebie to their new members. So a common way, especially for newer builders who don't have, the capital or the operating expense to spend on free gifts, uh, we do we do free one-on-one DIY sessions. So we tell our customers, when you buy a starter kit from me, you're gonna get a one-on-one free DIY session. Or we have people in the province bundle raindrop class with a free class. So when you buy a raindrop kit, you get a one-on-one demo of how it works or a workshop on how it works. We also do that. We also use workshops to encourage people to try new oils, buy and stuff. So even if you don't have budget to spend on free gifts, you can offer maybe free services. And when you tell people outright that this is a free service that I'm including because you bought this, then they will know that, oh, this is a value added inclusion when you get the starter kit. Yes. Free one-on-one DIY is really very effective for people. Next is the business opportunity. So in the Philippines, we always open the discussion that there is an opportunity to earn whenever you get your starter kit. And I think this is very important, especially for us here in the third world, because for most of us, the only way we could afford oils is because we did the business. So for me, that's the only way I could afford my loyalty orders is because I enrolled someone in a month. So how does this look like? So these are some scripts, sample scripts that you can try. Just try it once, try it twice, try it on some people, because this is very effective in our country. So in the provinces, most especially where the conversations are very blunt and straightforward, we really say, the way you can recover the cost of your starter kit is when you enroll 4 friends. Bring 4 friends to class who will buy you the starter kit, and your starter kit is basically free. You know, um, you can never assume that a person does not want the business. That is one big lesson that we had to learn to be able to do this in the long term. Because even like Rachel said, even the rich people end up doing the business. Even those who you didn't think would love the business ended up loving the business. The same way, um, you go to a restaurant and the waiter doesn't just give you, the appetizer. He hands you the menu of the things, and it's up to you as the customer in that restaurant to choose from appetizer, mains, desserts, beverages, right? So why are we just presenting products during our Essential Oils 101 class? Right? Why are we not sharing about, of course, the community? And why are we not opening the discussion that there is a getting paid to share opportunity, no matter how bland you want to call it, or no matter how straightforward you want to brand it, it's up to you. So you can do this seasonally, right, as needed, or part-time in addition to your existing income streams, or even as a real business. So we've had to adjust our languaging around this depending on who our audience is. But essentially, opening up the business opportunity discussion is really a must. And lastly, we do maintain a non-member mailing list. So this can be a database of people who have said no or not yet. So what this mailing list does is you have a list of people who are really interested but are not yet ready to push the button and buy. So these are the people that you will message whenever there is a promo, or whenever you have a class, or whenever the opportunity arises, you go back to them and reignite that conversation and pick up where you left off. These are people that are very important to you as well, the same way that members are important to you. So a non-member mailing list can also be a Facebook group. We used to have this a lot. We do classes there as well, but mostly just basic ones, so that they can get education, free education, and community immersion, even if they're not yet members. You can also do a group chat that's practically easier to maintain, I think. That way, they can already ask questions, keep the conversations open, even if they're not yet a member. So you can also maintain a customer group chat. You can maintain a lot of group chats, right? So I also have um, a mailing list for retail customers, and I think I've converted some of them to actually getting the kit after a few purchases. So yeah, you can definitely do a mailing list. Yeah, a WhatsApp group, right? So you can have the conversations in. I I I know a lot of people are like me. I am very scared of one-on-one conversations. So I know my customers are similar to me. And so they would prefer a group setting wherein they can just lurk and observe the conversations happening around them. And and then they PM me outside, they message me privately outside the group chat, and they say, "Hey, I read that conversation. What oil are you talking about there?" So that way, they felt safe to be lurking in the shadows of the group chat. They felt safe enough to open a separate conversation and discuss their options with me. Okay. So I hope you try some of the options here with your customers. And the oil highest potential, I think, is very perfect because it really makes you feel like your potential is limitless, even in a very boxed discussion of price. So yes, we collated some pictures here just to show you the different settings of classes that we do in the Philippines. And I'm just so proud whenever I get the chance to present this slide because it shows people how multifaceted our community is here. So we do a range of very big classes, 100 people, 200 people, very grand in big ballrooms, big function rooms. And we also do classes in tiny homes in the most remote of provinces that it takes you like 2 hours from the airport and stuff. And then we do classes on the beach. We do classes for wherein we had to do raindrop over a dining table because we don't have massage tables there. the potential is limitless when you think of all the problems you have as options. And I think at the end of the day, when you reach, some level wherein you're not afraid to show up, I'm not saying that a level of diamond, but that point wherein you're not already afraid to show up, you can collect pictures like this of places you've gone to and conversations you've had and people you have met through this journey, wherein too expensive might be the initial roadblock, but you've successfully gone past through that and opened more conversations and learned more about other people. So I hope you like the pictures. Okay, so to close this, I think the secret to selling is presence. I personally believe that empathy is overrated, and you can cancel me on that. But I really believe that presence is severely underrated and the biggest secret to selling. Okay? You can never really put yourself in another person's shoes, but you can be fully present in the human experience of selling through listening, sharing, and helping. And present time is my most absolute favorite blend. Clarity is number two. Okay. So present time is really wonderful because it just puts you back in that humble place of being fully present and allowing things to unfold right before you. And I think the secret to selling and the secret to being good in any conversation is just being present. So I hope you liked our little conversation today with that. And of course, please feel free to connect with us on Instagram if you have any questions. So, yeah.
Wow, that was amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That was such good information, very simple. Now I know why Rachel asked Louise to make all the presentation because they're beautiful and easy to read, and the information is very clear. And I had no idea that if you put white words over black background with such small fonts, we can still see it very clearly. It's such a beautiful presentation. Thank you so much. And we can really feel your heart at the end is the presence is the most important for the connection. That really, really speaks to what Young Living actually is. And that's what we've learned. Oh, I'm tearing up. I'm so touched. um, that's really, 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 it's what ripples out and what Gary has taught us is the connection and being present with the person that we're talking to and genuine care, that knowing that these oils and these products or Ningxia Red, whatever it could be, that will help the person sitting across to you. And that is really, really wonderful. Gretchen, do you have anything to add?
Well, I think it's a lot of information today for everyone. And I'm glad our meeting is being recorded and transcribed. And I will make sure all the notes be arranged nicely and easily read. And then I will send it out in short. And we do have a Oil Matters YouTube channel that we will be putting it on. Of course, I will get your Rachel and Louise permission before we put it on public or linked only. So for those who missed the meeting, just PM me and I will send out the link. Thank you.
Yeah, anybody has any? I'm surprised. I think the information is so good that we haven't really had time to know what to ask. And it was so clear. I really love how you said they can do it periodically. What did you say? You said seasonally. I really love how they can actually choose to do it seasonally too. Yeah, and reiterate that if they sign up for people, they get the product for free. Yeah, that's really powerful too. And I think we don't say that enough to the people that we sign up.
Mm. And I think it's we are very blessed to have Young Living essential oils with us so that we can switch our mindset easily and quickly, and then move ourselves out of the scarcity mentality and into abundance mentality so that we can tell ourselves and our people and people around us that these oils or these products are of value and we help them to achieve how they can how they want to achieve and starting low and going slow, um, just like how we use our oils. And
Yeah.
for the recording, I would highly recommend that you go rewatch a few times, in order to, fully understand. Sometimes I listened once, and then when I listened the second time, I get a little bit more of what the speakers share. And then maybe a while later, I listen again the third time. And then after some experience, and when I'm ready to receive some kind of message, I learn something new again. So it's always good to, have rewatch. And I encourage those who are leaders to open up and set up watch parties with your teams, and then watch their sharings, and then I always like to uh, bring up the three questions: what you have learned today, and what paradigm shift you have, and what future actions you plan to take. And then, as a moderator, you would ask each of your members or brand partners to share these three points, and then have a great discussions afterwards.
Yes. And I think to sum up the presentation, something that suddenly came to mind was when we talk about selling, what the entire presentation actually was not about selling. It was about connection. It was about giving value to the person that is sitting across you, caring about them, knowing what they actually need, and then meeting that need. So it's about the person that is sitting across you, is not about you trying to sell them something to benefit yourself. I think that was the key message that Louise and Rachel was trying
Yes.
to come across, which is a lot of times what we forget is what we're trying to sell the person. We're trying to get them to pay and buy a box of Surrogate. I think that is also a key point to remember. And every time when we sit in front of somebody, we have to remember that it's about them. It's not about us. We have to be a servant, humble servant to the people that is in our community. And I think that is really, really great what Gary has taught us. Thank you so much.
Thank
All right.
you.
All right.
So I
we'll
guess
see you.
I guess we will have a lot of opportunities for future collaborations again, and we always welcome all brand partners from all over the world. And if you're interested to share with our community, and we would love to hear from you, and please come to me and DM me, and I would love to have you on our platform as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you,
Bye.
everyone.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Having
Bye
us.
bye.
Oh, we forgot to take a photo.